So, if you're hanging out with us tonight, let me know in the chat box. I will turn myself down up here on this side and give everybody a few minutes to get in here. So, if you're joining us live today, then type in the chat box where you're at and what you're doing and where you come from and how you found me, or, say hi. Anything you like, just to give us a few minutes while people get in here and whatnot. If you're watching the replay, then sorry you missed out on the live stuff. There'll be more to come. So this is the first time I'm using this software and YouTube Live. I've done webinars in the past, but none recently. And since I did things a while back, things have changed a lot because technology changes really quickly. And I had to relearn everything in the moment, like quickly. So if anything's not working right, just drop it in the chat box and I'll fiddle with things and see if we can fix it. Or if you're watching the replay and something's not working right for you, shoot me an email and I will see what I can do about it. So, let's see, what time is it? Alright. But yeah, so the beauty of live video is that you never know what's going to happen. So I think everything's working alright. If you can hear me alright, that's great. If you can't, let me know. But if you can't hear me to let me know. Sorry, but we'll figure it out. So, hey everybody, welcome to the Body Buddha Pow Wow. I'm Savannah of earthandwater.co. I'm a life coach and birth doula in my community. Here's me. There's a picture of me. I have faced a ton of problems in my life. I recently started a support group for moms with anxiety, and me and my friend who co-hosts it with me were talking the other day, and it could just as easily be named moms with super sensitive bodies because we're allergic to everything. But I'm getting a little bit off point. I've had hypoglycemia, so that was the first of many. Well, that was not the first of many. Gosh, I had my tonsils out when I was like 5, and I had this weird thing around my neck that family members still love to tell me about, that they still to this day don't know what it was, but they think it was thyroid. I think it was allergies now, from what I know and looking back. But it was this huge mystery. It was like an inner tube around my neck, is what they say. And I remember it, but I don't know. It just eventually went away or something. I'm not sure. But so that was when I was really little. Not to mention asthma when I was even smaller than that, but that went away too. But then I had when I was about 14 or 15, I passed out in geometry class one morning, and first period, and completely freaked a lot of people out. Went to the school nurse, went home, and went to the doctor, and they said I had what was called rebound hypoglycemia. It's a precursor to diabetes, and so what happens was when I ate too many sweets, my body overcompensated insulin and bottomed my sugar out. And when this happened, then I would also myself bottom out. I couldn't get too hot without passing out. I couldn't do a lot of physical activity without passing out. Couldn't really go outside. Couldn't play sports. Couldn't really do much of anything. My husband took me fishing one day. Well, he wasn't my husband at the time. He was my boyfriend at the time. But he took me fishing one day, and I passed out twice on him in that one fishing trip. I mean, like, we stood up to get our things ready to leave, and I passed out. And then I came back to, was like, my bad, because honestly, I was used to passing out all the time, so when it happened, everybody else is freaking out, and I'm like, oh, sorry, that's embarrassing. But, I'm fine. And picked our stuff up, walked over to the hill we had to climb. I'm talking like 10 feet away, passed out again. So it took me was it 2 years? It might have been longer than that to get him to take me fishing again. But I did eventually overcome it. It still creeps up a little bit every now and then if my eating habits slip up. But I haven't passed out since I was like 22, maybe. So that was like, I'm 28 now, so it's been a while. Yeah, enough about that. Anyway, moving on. I had a miscarriage when I was also 22. Our first pregnancy we lost at 15 weeks. Food and seasonal allergies. So at the same time I was dealing with all this hypoglycemia stuff, I had really, really bad seasonal allergies. I'm talking, I had to go home from school a couple of times because I would just break out in hives after going outside, and we never knew what was causing it. I've had to go home from friends' houses before because I was allergic to something in their yard, and my face would swell up and my eyes would swell shut and be all itchy and red and swollen. I just have to lay there with a wet rag on my eyes because it was so bad. So I didn't go outside. I was very unhealthy. Not to mention I worked nights. I would get off at 2 o'clock in the morning and I would sleep until 2 o'clock in the afternoon, and then I would be back at work at 4 and do it all over again. So I didn't see the sunlight for years, and because going outside wasn't worth it. Between the heat, I live in Alabama, it's always hot here, and between the heat and the allergies, it was just not worth it. So I didn't get to go out. I was so pale. So pale, I looked like a skeleton walking around, a chubby skeleton, because my eating habits were crap. I lived off ramen noodles and tortilla chips. And when I say tortilla chips, my favorite meal was a bowl of tortilla chips with salt on them. And that's terrible, right? I ate a lot of pizza rolls. Just crap food, probably not a vegetable in sight. I was super unhealthy. I didn't even put anxiety on here, y'all. I'm known for my anxiety. Borderline poster child for anxiety. I talk about it a lot on the blog at earthandwater.co. A lot of my stuff I do is centered around anxiety. But I feel like we're just going to skip over that because anxiety itself is a whole nother webinar on its own. So I had ovarian cysts. That was pretty devastating, in the sense of painful and uncontrollable, unmanageable. That was hard. That was hard because I am very stoic and I can handle some pain. Okay, I had a natural unmedicated birth, and ovarian cysts are rough, y'all. They would have me doubled over, fetal position, just in pain, can't move without getting sick. It's bad. I skipped over the food allergies. So food allergies, I recently discovered that I have food allergies. After I had my daughter, she'll be 2 in 4 months. I had PUPS when I was pregnant with her, which, if you don't know, most people don't. PUPS is a itchy hive-like rash from head to toe absolute and total hell. I would not wish that on my worst enemy. I would not wish that on Hitler. And that, like, it's bad. It's so bad. The most miserable thing ever. Ever since I had her, I've had various skin issues. The most recent of which has been eczema on my hands, arms, and legs. And, like, very, very bad eczema. And, went to the dermatologist. He said, sorry, I can't help you. You'll deal with it for the rest of your life. Here's a steroid cream. Found a holistic doctor who put me on an extreme elimination diet, and it went away. Come to find out, it's soy. So I'm allergic to soy, which is in everything. I might as well be allergic to water. It's terrible. But it's being managed through diet. Another thing that's really been significant in my life is watching my family get sick. Okay, I have a huge family. Huge. Like, I'm not even gonna go into it. So big. And I've watched every one of my grandparents get sick and have to be cared for and have surgery after surgery after surgery. My parents, surgeries after surgeries after surgeries. It's been hard watching people you love not only deal with surgeries and the after effects of the healing process, but also taking just buffets of pills every day. And we've had a lot of issues with getting the pills right because doctors are not God. Doctors are people just like you and I, and things get mixed up. You know, they see hundreds of patients and they're just one person, and if they have hundreds of patients and each one is on a different combination of pills, it's hard to keep straight, I'm sure. And we've had some issues with things interacting with things and things causing other things, and I just didn't want to be like that. I looked at them and I was like, there's no way that this is what my future holds. I can't do it. No, like, what is life worth living if I'm going to have to eventually go into a nursing home or have my children take care of me night and day and not be able to get up and do the things that I love to do and remember the things I want to remember and, you know, whatever. That's not the life I want to live at all. So when on mine and my husband's first wedding anniversary, we spent it at the hospital. My grandmother, who I'm very close with, had open heart surgery. We didn't know if she was going to be with us after that, through that whole process. His father was very sick. I'm not sure if they ever actually figured out what was going on with him, but it was a long time ago at this point. But it was about 7 years at this point right now ago. But his kidneys were shutting down and like other organs and they were telling us that it was not good. So that about was the time that I started realizing that this wasn't the future I wanted for myself, and my hypochondria really started to kick in, and I was like, whoa, hold on. What is causing everybody in my life that I know to be so deathly ill at not even an old age? Okay, like his dad at the time he might have been 50. I don't know how old he is now. He might have been 50. My grandmother was in her 60s, maybe. They weren't old, y'all. There's no reason our bodies should be shutting down this quickly, you know? So I was trying to figure out what we were doing wrong, because it had to be something that we were doing wrong, right? Nature doesn't evolve this badly. Nature takes what is working and passes it on to the next generation to sustain the lifeline to sustain to sustain the species and stuff. It discards what doesn't work. I mean, sure, there are some flukes here and there, but they're very rare, very rare. So I had to figure out what we were doing wrong, because it had to be something. And I have just ever since been engulfed in the world of health, because honestly, we didn't know how to be healthy. I didn't know healthy was really a thing. I mean, that sounds ridiculous, but we all know we're supposed to eat our fruits and veggies, but I had no idea that it went so deep, I guess. Nobody in my family, a salad was the only thing that they considered healthy. And the only measurement of health was your weight, right? So it was very incongruent with how we needed to be living, and honestly what you think we should all know, because they don't teach these things in school, and they really, really should. So anyway, I've done lots of things. I have discovered Ayurveda, and that has been a big game changer in my life, because there's so many diets out there, and they're all contradicting, and they're all really hard to follow, and they're based on deprivation and depriving yourself of the finest, most wonderful things in life, and I don't agree with that. It's hard, it's unsustainable, it's depressing, it's stressful, and all of these things are counterproductive to our health, right? Because stress is going to do more harm than the french fries, So Ayurveda makes things really simple. It's not about diet, it's about lifestyle, and it's very intuitive, and it's very simple, and it's easy to follow, which is what I needed, because I hate to cook, I hate to be in the kitchen. There are 100,000 different things in the world that I would rather be doing than making food. It's obnoxious, honestly, to me. If we only had to eat like once a day, I could probably be cool with it, but 3 times a day, like, it is obnoxious how often I get hungry, right? And my kids, it is obnoxious how often they're wanting food. So Ayurveda was this cornerstone for me that helped me find a way to be healthy without putting a huge ton of work and effort and deprivation into it. Because we also, because I have such a big family, we're all the time having family functions, get-togethers, going out, spending time together as a family, and food is the center of all of this. So diets are just depressing when you're out to eat with your family, or you're at a family function, a get-together, a cookout, and everyone's eating and having a good time, and you're just sitting there because there's nothing for you to eat. And I've been there, and I'm still there, honestly, a lot of times with my newfound soy allergy. But anyway, so diet and lifestyle changes has been what I've done to cure all of my problems. I say cure, they're managed to manage all of my problems. I don't take medication for anything. I might put a little steroid cream on my eczema every now and then when it's really itching, like really bad, and I'm afraid I'm gonna claw my leg up, because that happens, and that's not healthy or good. So I will put a little bit of steroid cream on there to get the itching to go away and to kickstart the healing process. But aside from that, I don't take any medications for anything. Nope, just herbs, and I take some ashwagandha, a B complex, and vitamin D, because there's no surprise that I'm deficient in vitamin D with as much as I don't go outside. Well, as much as I didn't go outside. I do now these days. But anyway, so diet, lifestyle changes has been 100% it. And living in alignment with the cycles of the earth, which goes with Ayurveda, and we'll get to that in a second. So I go over here and check the chat. Alright. Okay, so That's who I am. Oh, I got into a little bit of this just a second ago. So, diets don't work. They're sudden, they're drastic, they're unsustainable, built on deprivation, and may not be for your unique body type. And, okay, we'll start at the top. So, they're sudden. We spend our whole lives eating this way, and now suddenly we're gonna go eat the other way. Okay? We're gonna make all of these changes overnight. They're drastic, they're sudden. It's stressful and it's unsustainable because you're completely changing the entire way that you live temporarily to get some sort of changes that you're looking for. And the problem with this is that temporary changes get temporary results. So not only are you depriving yourself, you're stressing yourself out, you're making it harder on yourself, but any results that you get are temporary. And you know, I should have put the statistics on there. There are some statistics you can find, and it says X amount of people who go on a diet end up gaining everything back and more as soon as they quit it. Because you know, you spend what? We'll say 3 months depriving yourself of cake and tacos, and then suddenly your diet is over. So hey, suddenly you can reward yourself with cake and tacos. But, and I totally eat tacos, by the way, never give up your tacos. But we overcompensate for all that deprivation that we've been depriving ourselves of, and now we go overboard with all the stuff that we weren't eating during our diet. Lifestyle changes, like I do, aren't about depriving yourself of any one thing. It's about moderation. You know, I don't keep sweets in the house, but if I go out to dinner at my in-laws' house and they have some strawberry shortcake, then I'm going to have a piece of strawberry shortcake. But I don't eat it regularly. I have it once every few months. If my husband wants pizza, then we're going to get pizza. You know, it's not a huge deal. It's not about sticking to a strict diet so much as it is paying attention to what you're eating, making good choices most of the time. Like your regular schedule, you would just make your good choices, and then once in a blue moon, on occasion, you would have whatever you wanted when it came about. You know, you're not going out and buying the cookies, but if you go to a function and they have cookies, then you don't guilt yourself for having a couple. May not be for your unique body type, but the thing about Ayurveda recognizes that there are 3 different body types, okay? Vata, Pitta, and Kapha. And each one has different characteristics, and you know, you are what you eat. Every food can also be tied to a dosha, which is the Vata, Pitta, Kapha. So Kapha foods are going to make you more Kapha. Pitta foods are going to make you more Pitta, and Vata, and so on. And when you know your body type, then you know how to balance your doshas. Okay? Ayurveda is a big subject. So, for example, I'm very Pitta Vata. Okay, so we all have all 3 doshas. Okay, we're all 3 in varying amounts. Okay, so you have a primary, a secondary, and then the third. So my primary is Pitta, my secondary is Vata, and the third is Kapha. So I'm least Kapha. This means I need more Kapha foods and less Pitta foods, okay? Because you want to keep balance between them all. And when you find your balance is when you find your health. Because more pitta foods are going to make me more pitta, and that's going to cause, so pitta is fire, it's associated with the fire element and water, but mostly fire. And so it's going to cause more fire problems, okay? And this sounds, for people who are new to Ayurveda, this is like, wait, what? But it's very intuitive, and that's why it's attached to elements and stuff, because most of us can understand the elements. And so once we understand the doshas, which are tied to the elements, then it's very easy to categorize everything in life, like food and activities and everything that can be tied to a dosha, because everything can. And so then you just want to balance, right? So too much pitta will make pitta problems manifest, which is, for example, rashes and skin irritations. Okay, check, got that. Anger issues, check, sometimes got that with my kids. Mostly I deal with vata problems like anxiety and gastrointestinal issues, which most of us have. Our society and the standard American diet is very vata based. We have a lot of dry processed foods, so all of these convenience foods that we have are making us more vata, which is causing all of our vata problems. So learning who you are inside and out and listening to your body and what it's trying to tell you is where you're going to want to be in coming up with your new lifestyle. Because the problem with all of these fad diets is they're one size fits all. And people are not one size fits all. People are individual. We have 1,000 different factors that make us unique. So that diet may work great for that person, but that doesn't mean it's going to work great for this other person, okay? So in Ayurveda, you really need to listen to your body, know your body, and adjust accordingly. So what one person's going to eat to bring out their optimal health isn't necessarily going to be what the next person's going to eat to bring out their optimal health. Okay, so get out your pen and paper that I hope you have. I'll give you a second to do that while I go get over here. And then we're going to do some exercises. Okay, so I want you to write down on your piece of paper on an average day what your diet looks like. What are you eating for breakfast? What are you eating for lunch? What are you eating for dinner? What are you eating in between all of that? Write it all down. And if you're watching the replay, go ahead and pause it if you need to, if we don't give you enough time. I am going to run through these pretty quickly because I've already been talking for 30 minutes and we're just on like slide 3. So and if you don't have enough time to finish the writing down the answers and whatnot, I did email you the slides, so you can just make a little note and you can go back to the slides and fill it all in a minute, or afterwards, or whenever you get a minute, whenever you get time. So on an average day, how do you feel? Do you have enough energy to do all the things that you want to do? Are you tired? Are you lethargic? Are you unmotivated? Do you feel heavy? Do you feel anxious? Do you feel whatever? How do you feel? How do you feel about your food? Like, Sorry, hold on, how do I better word this? Do you struggle trying to find what you're going to eat? Do you live meal to meal? Kind of like paycheck to paycheck, but meal to meal. Meaning you don't really plan out what you're eating. Do you plan out what you're eating, or do you just, I'm hungry, let's go to the kitchen and see what we have? Do you regularly fight with your spouse, friend, lover, etc. about what's for dinner? You know, what do you want to eat? Well, I don't know, what do you want to eat? Is that something that you do often? Because that's not optimal. That's a waste of time, and that's a lot of things. I have a lot of problems with that. What is your biggest struggle when it comes to food? You know, is it finding something that you can eat? Is it finding the time to cook? Is it temptation? Do people bring bad food around you? Is that your problem? Do you have, I don't know, what's your problem? What is the issue with food? The reason that you're not already eating great, or, you know, whatever. Leaving things to be desired. So, after you eat, how do you feel? Food should give us energy. We should be energetic after we eat. We shouldn't be lethargic and sleepy after we eat, okay? Do you feel bloated after you eat? Do you have indigestion, heartburn? You know, are there any side effects like that? Do you feel anxious after you eat? Or, what's the word? Guilty. Do you feel guilty after you eat? Have you noticed that some specific things make you feel better or worse or energized or sluggish or anxious or any of those other things that I mentioned? And if you have noticed, what are those things? You know, make a note. What are the things that make you feel these types of ways? What are the things that make you feel good? What are the main things that make you feel bad? And I highly recommend keeping a food journal and writing down what you eat and how it made you feel. And I even have one. I have one that you can get off my site, earthandwater.co. It's the holistic food journal. You can find it under the market tab. Do you feel guilty after certain things? Yeah, we said that. Look, go back. Is the food you're eating high vibrational, ethical, and in alignment with your soul? Okay, everybody forgets the spirit. When you get into this healthy living, body fixing, clean eating way of life, all you ever find is body, 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 body. There might be a little mind work in there, but nobody ever mentions the soul, the spirit, and it is so important. And the spirit is the missing aspect of most of our lives that make us so not in alignment. Not in alignment is a nice word. So unhappy, so stuck feeling, and feeling like we're missing something in our lives. Our search for happiness, the reason we keep making bad decision after bad decision and crappy relationship after crappy relationship, is because we're missing that connection with our highest self. But food ties into that, okay? Food is spiritual. Food becomes us, okay? You are what you eat. Everything that we're putting into our mouth, we are taking within and infusing in every cell of our being. That's a spiritual connection, okay? You want the things that you're putting into your body to be in alignment with your highest self, so that you can embody your highest self, okay? If the, what's the word? Not the food industry, the animal products industry, the livestock and the butcher and all of that. There's a word for it. It's some kind of industry. if that doesn't sit well with you, then maybe you shouldn't be eating meat. If you go out and hunt your own meat and that sits well with your soul because you're thanking the animal for its sacrifice and its contribution and acknowledging its life and whatnot, and all of that sits well with you, then cool. If you feel guilty about eating non-organic things, that's going to have a vibrational effect on your whole being because you're tying regret to it and discord. Everything has a vibration. It all matters. So, inflammation and alkalization. All right, I'm going to give you a second. I'm going to give myself a second. If you're familiar with my story at all, you know that I didn't speak for like the first 23 years of my life. So I get winded easily. I'm not used to talking this much. Okay. So everything we come into contact with is either inflammatory or anti-inflammatory. That's it. It either causes sickness, which is inflammation. Inflammation causes sickness. And anti-inflammatory substances heal sickness. Okay, so it's an anti-inflammatory environment, so no inflammation, is an alkalized body, which disease cannot live in. Okay, some things are more inflammatory than others. So everything we can come into contact with is either inflammatory or anti-inflammatory. This is the food we eat, what we got? Cleaning supplies, additives, self-care items. Everything that we come in contact with is either inflammatory or anti-inflammatory. Inflammation causes disease and sickness. So you want to be stacking your cards in your favor, because in the world we live in today, there's no way we can get away from all the toxins. Okay, zero way we can get away from all the toxins. Maybe if you lived out in the woods by yourself 1,000 miles from civilization or electricity, you could pull it off then, but pretty much none of us live like that. If you're watching this, you're not living like that, because we all need internet and Wi-Fi, and Wi-Fi is a whole nother subject. But yeah, so we want to be stacking the cards in our favor, and this means non-toxic living stuff as far as we can go. So processed foods, sugar, preservatives, these are all the additives. These are all the most inflammatory things. And then your anti-inflammatory things are going to be your healing herbs like turmeric, leafy greens, quinoa. I have a list in the Body Buddha community, and we will get to that in a moment. Okay, yeah, so this is just going back to finding the diet that fits for you. I talked earlier about how there are 100,000 different things that make us unique from the next individual, and so this is just kind of breaking that down a little bit. Geographical location. The people who evolved in North America are going to have different bodies, and their bodies are going to be used to different types of food than the people who evolved in Australia or Africa or Northern Europe, whatever, or Brazil, or, you get it. If your body and your ancestors' bodies evolved eating lots of nuts and berries, and then these ones over here evolved eating lots of meat, your body's going to process meat differently, and their body's going to process the nuts and berries differently. and it may not be as well. So that's something to take into consideration. Genetics, kind of the same thing, more or less. Lifestyle. So lifestyle, for example, I have always had a soy allergy. My parents, when I had the thing around my neck and they had me tested for 100 different things, they found out I had a soy allergy. But I never reacted to it until recently. And what changed, per my doctor, what she explained it was, so you have this bucket, this toxins bucket, and your body's constantly cleaning the toxins out of your system, okay? But when you get too many toxins in your system and your toxic bucket overflows is when you have these manifestations. So lifestyle, going back to the toxins in our self-care items, our cleaning supplies, all of that has to do with, and even if you live a sedentary lifestyle, if you don't exercise as much as maybe you should. So the dosha, whatever your dosha is, and we'll get to that maybe. I don't know if I put that in there or not, but I will tell you how to figure it out. We probably won't go over that today. The season, so you probably notice that when it's hot outside, you're craving more cold foods, more fruits, more watery things. And when it's hot, or did I say when it's cold out? Because that is a description of when it's hot out. Sorry, it's getting kind of late. So when it's hot out, that's what you want. And then when it's cold out, you want more of the potatoes and the hearty soups and those kinds of things. So if you follow that, that's why eating seasonally is so important, because your body needs different things at different times of the year. Yeah, and then, oops, go back. I was trying to highlight. So, and how much we eat, like a sedentary lifestyle is going to require less calories than a really active lifestyle. So adjust accordingly for that. We used to be all farmers and hunters and whatnot, so we were go all the time. And so we needed a lot more calories. Well, our lifestyle as a society has changed to more sedentary, so we're all sitting at our computers all the time, but our diets didn't compensate for it. Enter obesity epidemic. Okay, so reflecting on simplicity. Take out your pen and paper again and write down what toxins in your life come to mind immediately. Like, what things do you know are in your life right now that are toxic that you should probably ditch? What are some simple changes you could make today? And I use the term today loosely. I probably should have put this week, because I don't at all recommend throwing out all of the things in your cabinets and going and buying new eco-friendly, non-toxic things. It's wasteful, it's expensive, it's just not ideal. But what I do recommend is, when you run out of the things that you have now, replace them when you would normally replace them anyway. Replace them with better non-toxic versions, okay? And that's how you want to go about replacing things like that. What could you do today? You could make one better decision with a meal today. You can get some turmeric in your diet today, because that's anti-inflammatory and detoxing and whatnot. You could exercise today. You could do some yoga, some stretches. You could go for a walk. You could maybe go get a massage. I don't know about today, but you could probably schedule that in this detoxing. But anyway, you get the point. What have you tried that didn't work? So we're going back to eating now. Like, I probably could have organized this stuff better. What have you tried dieting wise that didn't work for you? You know, did you try the keto and it was just too hard, or did you do fasting for a while and then you fell off? Like, what did you do? What have you already tried, and what about it didn't work? Why was it not for you specifically? What about it was hard? Okay, so Ayurveda and the doshas. Ayurveda is the most ancient medical system in the world. Okay, it's the sister science of yoga. Yoga is the spiritual aspect of it all. Ayurveda is actually the self-care aspects. Okay, so most people who really practice yoga are actually practicing Ayurveda. Yoga is actually at the end of your yoga practice, when you lay down in Shavasana and you just lay there and breathe and meditate for a minute. That is actually the yoga part. Yoga is about tiring the body to still the mind so that you can reach this higher form of intellect and enlightenment and whatnot. But yeah, so Vata, Pitta, Kapha, those are the elements. Vata is air and ether, Pitta is fire and water, and Kapha is earth and water. No relation. And they're going to be mostly what you would expect them to be. Like air and ether. Air is always moving, it's wispy, it's flowy, it's brittle, dry. So, you know, dry skin, tall, slender, anxiety, overthinking, creative, all these things. Pitta is fire, so it's going to be exactly what you would think. Fiery. It's red, strong, inflamed, angry, hot, maybe excessive sweat, you know, because fire and water. Kapha is earth and water, so it's heavy and solid and fixed and stable and kind and caring and loving and slow and those kinds of things. You can have one. Sorry, my son got it. So Ayurveda and food. So what it says about food and how you should be eating. It's mostly plant-based. It does say that meat is okay for the sick and the warriors because they require more protein and whatnot. But for just your average person, plant-based is going to be a-okay. But in any regards, no matter what you decide to do for your own personal choices, mostly plant-based is the key term. Seasonal and local, because once again, your body is adapting to its surroundings and what's going on. So you want to be eating with the flows of nature of where you live, okay? There's a lot of reasons for that go beyond Ayurveda. But Ayurveda focuses on the whole instead of just pieces of you. Like most diets are focused on like weight management. Ayurveda focuses on the mind, the body, the soul, and the characteristics of it all and the health problems as a whole, and not just, oh, your skin's inflamed, well, let's treat your skin and nothing else, and not worry about your diet and not worry about anything else. Ayurveda is like, oh, your skin's inflamed, let's look at your diet, stick out your tongue, let me see that, it's more than a diet. It's so much more than a diet. It's a whole way of living and being the best you possible and whatnot. So I have the Body Buddha community, and what this community is a directory for all of the things that I've talked about today and more. It's got lists of Vata food, Pitta food, Kapha food, seasonal eating list for every month, how-to guides, grocery lists, recipes, Ayurveda living basics, nutrition basics, a Facebook community, so that you can talk to people who are on the same journey as you and ask for suggestions if you're having a hard time with something. I will be in there so you can ask your questions, and I will get to them and answer them when I can and help you out with all of that, for troubleshooting problems and support. Support is so important when you're making lifestyle changes, because having that accountability with someone who understands the struggles makes the world of difference. It's the difference between succeeding and failing most of the time. So, and I add to all of this monthly, okay? So there's more recipes, there's more guides, I expand on things. I have a menu planner that I'm fixing to add to it. Lots of things, and I'm going to be adding to it monthly as I come across things. And ongoing benefits, updated and added to regularly. Access to things that are otherwise paid products, because I do have my the holistic food journal that I mentioned earlier. That is in there, and that's free for Body Buddha members. Group support from peers, and myself, which is invaluable, honestly. And more insight into yourself. Who doesn't want to know more things about themselves and come to love themselves more, right? So all of that's only $15 a month, which is insanely cheap for just what's already in there on its own. I have seen just Facebook groups that center around things like this be $15 a month or more, like just the support groups. But I'll be adding to it regularly, and I may eventually have to increase the price, y'all. But right now it's $15 for the foreseeable future. And so I will have a link to that in just a second for you to go on over there and grab it if you want. But also, it's important to know that food in your body is only one small aspect of your life pizza, okay? This is your life pizza. It's all the aspects of life, and balancing all of your slices is how you embody your best self and your best life and find success. Oh, I have a whole list. Why am I struggling? So when your life pizza is out of balance, you have poor health and relationships, overwhelm, fatigue, burnout, loneliness, low quality life, and it may extend it even further than that, like money problems and anxiety, and I keep coming back to anxiety because I have it. Health problems, did I put that? Yeah, well, anyway. I'm really trying to wrap this up, y'all. It's getting late and I'm getting tired. So when your life pizza is in balance, you have better health, peace, ease and flow, easier success, better relationships, happiness, more progress. You find your purpose in life. You find your peace, which I said, yeah, but it's good stuff. It's good stuff. It feels wonderful. And So your life pizza is your inner piece. That's going to be your spirituality. Oh, I have spirituality over here. Okay, inner piece is going to be healing your past traumas and dealing with all of that that we all have. Self-love, learning to love who you are. Physical health, which is the Body Buddha community. Happiness, relationships, spirituality, personal growth, and quality of life. So how you're living, your house, your money situation, your bills, like all of that. So, yeah, go balance your life pizza. Have some more exercises for you to get a little head start on the balancing act. Take out your pen and paper again and write down, are you experiencing any out of balance symptoms right now? So I'll go back over that to that list. We've got poor health, poor relationships, overwhelm, fatigue, burnout, loneliness, low quality of life. Do any of those sound like something you're having a problem with? Which slices get too much of your attention and which slices don't get enough? Okay, I'll go back over here to it so you can look at it for a second. Which one of these slices gets too much of your attention? Are you too focused on your quality of life so you work too much and your self-love and spirituality wither away because of it? Or are you a personal growth junkie but don't actually focus on your relationships or your physical health? Or, what does yours look like? Which imbalance symptoms do you want to manifest? Okay, so the imbalance. What do you want? Better health? Do you want more peace? Do you want ease and flow and get rid of the overwhelm and the busy schedule? Do you want easier success? Do you have a small business that you're trying to make profitable or kick off the ground? Do you want better relationships with your loved ones? Do you just want to be happy? Or do you just want to get a little bit further from where you seem to be stuck at? Which one of those do you want? And the big one, something I tell all of my clients to do, is the number one first thing we always do. Write down what your ideal life looks like, okay? And you're going to have to come back to this because I want you to spend at least like 10 or 15 minutes on writing out a whole storyline of what your ideal life looks like. What do you do when you get up in the morning? How do you dress? What do you eat? What is your commute like? How do you feel? How do you feel in your commute? How are your interactions with people that you come in contact with? What is work like? What is lunch like? What is your commute home like? What do you do in your spare time? What is dinner like? What kind of things do you buy? What kind of things do you have? What does your nightly routine look like? All of these things, okay? What do you do on the weekends? What are your hobbies? What do you contribute? Like, so many things. I want you to spend so much details because the magic's in the details. We can't get to where we're wanting to go until we know where we're trying to go. Okay? You don't get in the car until you know that you want to go to Walmart. Okay? You have to know you want to go to Walmart first, and then you go get in the car. It's logical. So I also have one-on-one life coaching in the Body Buddha program. If you want to do that, that sounds great. If you want some one-on-one time with me, because I'm not in the Body Buddha program all the time, okay? I have a ton of other things going on all the time. So if you want priority and one-on-one personalized coaching with me to work on your life pizza, then I have one-on-one coaching as an option. You'll get accountability is everything, so I'll be there to make sure you're hitting your goals and we're setting goals, and I'll give you homework and exercises to do to make progress and all of that. Personalized guidance and support, so we're looking So, what do I have? Freedom to explore other topics. Oh, yeah. We can cover anything we want to cover. Direct and continuous access to me. Yeah, so I don't do phone calls like most coaches do. For one, because I hate talking. I'm not 100% awesome at it, if you can't tell. But I can write. So I like texting or emails. So that's how you'll have continuous support for me. Texting and emails also gives us that continuous support, whereas phone calls, we have to wait until our next phone call. And I don't, phone calls are really hard to schedule, especially since I have 2.5 kids. 2.5 because I have 2, and then I keep a third 5 days a week. So that's hard to schedule around, okay? Hence us doing a webinar at 9:30 at night after the kids are in bed. So yeah, phone calls are stressful, and for you to get the support I feel like you deserve, you have to at least be talking to me once a week, and I can't schedule one phone call per week. But anyway, so that's why I do texting, plus that gives you continuous access to me, so anytime you need me, I'm there. And it also gives us a, what do you call it? Record of everything we've discussed. So if I give you some advice, you can go back and look at, like, what did she say that site was that I could go to do the thing? You go back up there and you can see it's right there, easy peasy, lemon squeezy. And it helps us both keep track of everything. So that's convenient. Mindset and just kidding. Okay, mindset and manifestation. Yeah, so mindset is everything, okay? Everything. I could do a whole webinar on just mindset and how important it is, okay? You can't get somewhere until you believe you can, and that is all mindset, okay? Everything that happens to you in your day stems from your mindset. Unconsciously, subconsciously, you don't even know it's happening most of the time, but mindset, so important. So we'll work on affirmations and reworking limiting beliefs and taking you from point A to point B and the steps on how to get there. So like, if you absolutely hate yourself, you can't love yourself tomorrow, okay? It's not plausible. But we can get you a little bit closer every day, okay? We can, and we start by doing so today you're like, I hate myself. Well, okay, that's a limiting belief. So we're gonna take that out of our vocabulary, and we're gonna replace it with, what's the next step? You can just be like, I don't hate myself. Like, okay, I don't necessarily like myself, but maybe I don't hate myself, or maybe I am okay, or we'll look for some things that you can find to like about yourself. That's just one example, but I do coaching in all sorts of areas, so, and some areas are easier than others, but yeah, we can work on whatever you want. And bonuses, so I have like, I don't know, 5 or 6 interactive ebooks on various topics on my website. There's one on chakras, there's one on loving yourself, there's one on money mindset, abundance mindset, there's one on detoxing and living a minimalist life. I got a few of them, and you can have access to all of them if you're coaching with me, okay? If you're a coaching client, then you automatically get access to all my interactive ebooks if you want them. Whereas if you're not a coaching client, you have to buy them all separately and whatnot. And I also write meditations. I just clicked on it again. I also write meditations, and meditations is part of the mindset work that helps you reframe your belief system and how you think and live and act and do and say and speak and whatnot. And so I'll help you. I'll write some personalized meditations that conquer and work on your specific goals and problems. and which I also offer as a service. If you just want a meditation that helps fix X problem, then we can do that too, a la carte. Trello keeps us organized. Trello is where we put in all of our information, all of our goals, all of our exercises, our homework, our everything. Okay, it's how we keep me and you both on the same page about everything all the time, because we're organized, and organization is king or queen or goddess. Organization is how you get to where you're wanting to go. Okay, we don't want to be all over the place. We want to be nice, organized manner. So yeah, everybody, all my coaching clients have a personalized Trello board, which is, part of the key. So yeah, $150 a month. I do it about monthly most of the time. That way we can assess month by month where you're at, where you're going, how much progress you've made, if you're satisfied with that progress, if you want to continue on to get more things. Or you can sign like a 3 or 6 month contract, and we can talk about that if you prefer doing that. But yeah, so cancel anytime. Alright, so here's your links. If you don't have the slides available to you, you'll be getting an email tomorrow. Maybe tomorrow. Probably tomorrow. I might just wait till Thursday. I don't know. I'll have the links in there. But if you have the slides already, what you do in your email, I emailed to you like 3 times. I emailed the slides 3 times today. So you should have them. But the links are right here to take you to the Body Buddha community or one-on-one coaching option if you prefer that. And here's how you keep in contact with me. So if you're not interested in continuing all of this further today, no harm, no foul. I'm not salty at all. Just follow me on social media and we can still be friends and everything's cool and chill. So yeah, Facebook page, Facebook group, Instagram, Pinterest, Twitter, YouTube, like and subscribe to all the things. And I think that might be it. Is that it? Is that the end of our presentation? That's the end of our presentation, y'all. And we barely went over an hour. That's not bad. I kind of feel exhausted now, but that's not bad. So, yeah, it was good talking to you today. This is a new experience for me. I enjoyed it a lot, which means I'll totally be doing more in the future. This was kind of fun. I hope you enjoyed it. I hope you got something out of it. Go back and do the exercises that you didn't have time to do, and especially that ideal life thing. You really want to write that story out for yourself. It'll do wonders for you. And check your emails, and I'll see you soon. As soon as I can figure out how to cut this off. Y'all have a good night.